Foreign philosophy, a figure emerges as a remarkable thinker who questioned, accepted traditions, and delved into the essence of human existence. Søren Kierkegaard, born in 1813 inches, Copenhagen, Denmark, encountered intellectual pursuits. Early on, his father, a man of deep thought, engaged him in discussions and readings that nurtured Kierkegaard's reflective nature as he grew older. Kierkegaard studied philosophy and theology at the University of Copenhagen. Yet he soon became dissatisfied with the historical and abstract texts encountered. He felt they were detached from the lived human struggle, lacking authenticity and depth. This disillusionment guided the trajectory of Kierkegaard's philosophical mission. One of his most significant ideas was the notion of angst or existential dread. In his influential book, The Concept of Anxiety, Kierkegaard explored the complexity of this uniquely human experience, offering profound insights into the conditions of existence. Angst, in his terms, is distinct from clinical disorders of anxiety. It represents our confrontation with the core realities of the human condition, unknown, and the uncertainty that permeate our lives. Kierkegaard invites us to reflect on this reality. From the very start of life, we are cast into a world filled with unpredictability and endless possibilities. We face choices, dilemmas, and circumstances that stir a deep unease within us. It is the awareness of life's vast scope, the enormity of what lies hidden, and the heavy responsibility of freedom that produces this state. To Kierkegaard, angst is not simply psychological, it is existential. It raises questions about our being and compels us to confront the limits of what we know and understand. We must face life's mysteries, the certainty of death, the unpredictability of what lies ahead, and the contradictions bound to our nature. Kierkegaard believed angst arises because humans are conscious and capable of reflection, realizing their own subjectivity. This awareness reveals the conflict between our craving for security and the unavoidable ambiguity of life. We wish for constancy, yet we face the truth that existence is in constant motion, with no guarantee of certainty. Kierkegaard's thought sheds light on the link between anxiety, freedom, and the quest for meaning. His well-known expression, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom," sums up his conviction that anxiety springs from the weight of responsibility inherent in freedom. Every moment of life places us before choices, and the ability to decide gives us the power to shape our destiny. But with this freedom, accountability, and that burden brings anxiety. Kierkegaard noted that modern life especially is marked by a near continuous state of unease, confronted with countless options, overloaded with knowledge, and forced to decide paths that may or may not fulfill us. The stress of these choices generates tension as we plick. I hope our decisions will calm our restlessness. Yet no such assurance exists against the common assumption that anxiety is only harmful. Kierkegaard saw it as an essential and even valuable aspect of existence. He argued that the way we respond to anxiety and the decisions we make in its presence define whether our lives achieve depth or fall into emptiness. He introduced passion as the means to confront and rise above this unease. He taught that the experience of anxiety can be transformed into motivation for growth and authenticity by dedicating ourselves to passionate pursuits. Kierkegaard believed passion breathes vitality into existence, offering purpose and fulfillment. Passion can take many forms: love, creative work, personal progress, vocational dedication, or ideals. But what mattered most to Kierkegaard was that passion is rooted in subjective truth. For him, subjective truth was the truth that carries personal weight and resonates within our core beyond external or objective measures. Kierkegaard urged us to dive into our subjectivity and follow the passions that align with our values and vision. He expressed it clearly: the essential task is to discover a truth that is truth to me, to discover the idea for which I am willing to live and die. These words capture the essence of Kierkegaard's philosophy, underscoring the necessity of embracing subjective truth and the existential devotion it demands to pursue what carries personal weight. Kierkegaard understood that the quest for subjective truth requires stepping away from the realm of objective logic and intellectual certainty. It calls us to move beyond the safety of established thought and social conventions, and instead descend into our own subjectivity to unearth the truths that speak to our being. Such a commitment to subjective truth demands a leap of faith grounded in trust, in the genuineness of our own perceptions, experiences, and aspirations. It acknowledges that our inner truths carry immense worth, even when they cannot be empirically demonstrated or universally endorsed. This leap of faith is both emotional and existential. It involves a readiness to embrace uncertainty and to wrestle with the unease born from leaving behind the collective shelter of common belief. It is a pledge to live by what feels personally meaningful, even without external recognition or intellectual validation. Anxiety, with its grip over our thoughts and emotions, can often immobilize us, restricting progress and decision-making. It casts a heavy shadow over our days, clouding clarity and draining resolve. Yet, Kierkegaard argued that yielding to this paralysis only leads to despair and a fragmented way of living. He understood that unchecked anxiety can devour us, leaving us stagnant and alienated from life's vitality. When we permit it to dictate our choices, we hand over our power to shape destiny and fall into patterns of hesitation, fear, and mischances in opposition. Kierkegaard highlighted the necessity of confronting anxiety directly, of gathering the courage to bear its discomfort and ambiguity. He believed that genuine growth and realization require moving through anxiety rather than avoiding it. By doing so, we restore our agency, acknowledge life's risks and uncertainties, yet refuse to be shackled by them. Kierkegaard viewed anxiety not only as a burden, but also as a signal pointing us toward areas ripe for growth and transformation. At the very center of his thought is the recognition that the self develops only through an engagement with the anxiety of existence. He claimed that true meaning and realization arise from leaping in faith and embracing the uncertainties of life. Without hesitation in this way, we resist the lure of conformity and the temptation of distractions that delay growth and conceal authenticity. Kierkegaard emphasized that the path toward fulfillment is not one of ease. It demands that we stand before the unpredictability, the unknown, and the tangled realities of existence. Yet through this deliberate engagement with unease, we enter a journey of inner discovery and transcendence. Authentic realization, according to Kierkegaard, requires firm dedication to sincerity and a refusal to surrender to societal molds. Society imposes norms and expectations that can mute individuality and lead us astray from our genuine selves to find real meaning. We must resist shaping ourselves into prescribed patterns and instead remain faithful to our inner passions, values, and aims. He warned of the dangers of conformity and complacency, believing that surrendering to collective norms without reflection strips away agency and sacrifices. Growth fulfillment lies beyond conformity. It is discovered by embracing life's uncertainty, venturing into the unknown, and valuing the richness of personal experience. He also warned against escapism and shallow distraction, indulgence in diversions that numb unease, whether empty amusements, intoxicants, or endless busyness, offers fleeting relief, but ultimately blocks our journey towards self-realization. Such diversions distract us from the deeper questions and challenges that move us closer to self-actualization. To foster growth, Kierkegaard stressed the need for honest self-examination, reflection, and steadfast devotion to personal development. He called for a deepening awareness of our desires, fears, and motivations. When we embark on this inner search, we uncover deeper insight into our genuine selves and discover the directions that lead us toward a life of meaning. Kierkegaard's philosophy urges us to welcome solitude and quiet, granting ourselves moments of reflection and discovery. By setting aside time for inward contemplation, we create the conditions to face our anxieties, assess our choices, and realign with our truest values and aims. In this practice, we cultivate sharper self-awareness, allowing us to navigate the uncertainties of life with vision and intention. We come to recognize the distinctive talents and gifts we hold and learn how to express them with sincerity in the world. Conclusion: we are reminded of the profound role that anxiety plays in the human journey. It is a natural response to the unsettled, confusing, and unpredictable nature of existence. In a reality overflowing with choices and possibilities, anxiety may feel overpowering, yet it also possesses the potential to push us toward greatness and authentic realization. We must accept that life will never provide complete stability or freedom from fear. No perfect or flawless moment will ever arrive to act amid impossible decisions and uncertainty. Kierkegaard calls us to move forward to choose. In spite of the unknown, his vision anchored in faith in the Christian God extends as a framework that can guide any personal pursuit of meaning and direction within a culture that frequently marks anxiety as weakness or illness. Kierkegaard's insights remind us that anxiety is inseparable from being human by acknowledging its presence, learning to coexist with it, and daring to take leaps of faith into what grants us meaning and purpose. We open ourselves to lives that are richer, more authentic, and deeply fulfilled lives.